Um, Great. Well, thank you all so much for joining us today for our information session about our 2025 and early 2026 textile journeys. My name is Kim Hunter. I'm the founder of Traveling Traders Bazaar, and I know that it is a busy time right now. And honestly, Traveling Traders has grown so much in the last few years that I wanted to put together a call that showcased all of our tours that we're offering, because the time to do that for individual tours we are still doing, but you're all busy. So this is a great opportunity to tune in for an hour, learn a bit more about us, our team, and what our offerings are for this coming year. And so let's get started. Um, I did want to take a quick moment and just share a bit more about our journey to Mexico. So my name is Kim, and I'm the founder of Traveling Traders. I founded this project and company in 2020 in Thailand, where we ended up for the pandemic. I started working with a Hill Tribe artisan collective there. We made face masks and also a travel accessory collection. And really, it was then that I'd had the idea to start working with artisans 8 years before on a round the world trip. But there was where I got to spend a year and a half really working side by side along these artisans and really getting to see their crafts. And when we left Thailand after the pandemic and got back to Oaxaca, which is where we originally planned to be in 2020, it was amazing to actually kick back off our tours, which we did mushroom foraging tours, and we started actually including weaving in our mushroom tours. So my husband is a mushroom foraging chef, and so we began doing that in terms of tourism, and Traveling Traders and our experiences came later. So we got to start doing weaving. The next year in 2022, Alyssa Allen, who's on the call today, came with us to Oaxaca for mushroom dyeing and lichen dyeing. She's incredible, and you'll get to meet all of this team today, which is why I kind of wanted to weave this thread of connection of how we know each other. And Alyssa also brought lectures and like community demonstrations to these dyers and weavers in Oaxaca to show them new ways of natural dyeing. So also it was about how do we give back and share what we're learning as well. And in 2023, after I'd met Miriam and Carolyn through some fun other turns of events, Love of Fiber, we came up with the idea of Impressions of Oaxaca, which is our kind of embroidery tour that we do for 10 days, as well as Woven Lives, which is Carolyn and Anna's baby that they born out of their love for Oaxacan textiles. And so that was the launch of our textile tours. In 2024, we've also hosted textile groups from like the Surface Design Association, as well as student groups from like Massachusetts Art and others, which has also been a pleasure. And this year we are going into our 5th year and are launching our second embroidery tour, featuring guest artist Alina Boles, as well as launching a Chiapas tour, which Anna and I are doing. So anyway, I just wanted to give you a sense of what we've been doing the last 5 years and sort of the thread that brought us all together, and really a love of fiber. So thank you for giving me a few minutes on that. Because it really just leads me to get to introduce our team, which, like, they say people are your greatest resource, and for this, like, this is our experiences. Like, the experiences we have were born out of all the women here that are on this call. So why don't we kick off and you can meet these women who I love so much. Carolyn, you want to kick off?
Sure, I'll go first. So it was really great to run into Kim and we to talk about what we could do. I've been coming down to Oaxaca and working with artisans since 2004. I brought students down here many times, and I worked with many different artisans in many areas. I knew Miriam and Anna from having been here, and we've been working together also for many, many years on many projects. And so this opportunity to sort of take people who are really curious and interested about textiles and fiber in Oaxaca, and then be able to sort of bring them into the world of our friends and our colleagues and our co-creators and collaborators, and everybody getting to meet each other just seemed kind of like a dream come true. So this has just been one of I was at University of Wisconsin Madison, and I retired 3 years ago now, and sold my house. Now live here full time in Oaxaca, and these tours are really one of the highlights of my life now. I just love this. It's really fun to bring people here, and like Kim says, but like I love working with this group of people. It's such a joy. So I'll leave it at that.
Well, my name is Ana Paula. I'm from Mexico City, but I've been living in Oaxaca for 20 years. So I have a Oaxacan soul right now. And I'm really, really pleased to be working with traveling traders. I've been running, well, I was the founding director of the Textile Museum of Oaxaca. And that's where I realized that I love to connect people and to be an ambassador of my country, my culture, and everything that I've learned through the years in Oaxaca. It's like making sense when we run tours because we really can share everything that we've learned and we learn from the travelers. So for me, working as a guide, as a facilitator, as a community liaison is really a pleasure and a very nurturing experience. And working with Kim, Caroline, Miriam, it's really, really a joy and a pleasure. And I'm really happy to be part of this wonderful team. And I love photography. That's my other passion. Yeah, I've been working with artisans for 20 years. So for me, this is um, like the best way to share what I've been really, really fortunate to be experiencing for the last 20 years of my life. So thank you.
Thank you, Anna.
Hello, everybody. I'm Miriam Campos. I'm so excited to see some very beautiful faces now in here. And I'm also very grateful to be part of this amazing team. I'm an artisan from Oaxaca. I'm born and living here my whole life. And I'm the luckiest one because I belong to a family who has been dedicated to the textile creation since several generations. So I one of the is part of my heritage, and this way to share this acknowledgement with other people has been just been amazing. This is something unexpected that I have in my life. I has been doing some other things during my life, but in 2020, I also quit my formal job and started to dedicate it by myself completely in textile creation, and then this emerged, and I am really happy to be part of this amazing group of people because every time that a group of people coming here to Oaxaca, this community is growing and growing, and it's just amazing. I'm very happy to be here. I expect that you are still come back again and being part for this activity for more time. Thank you for being here.
Thank you, Miriam. Alyssa?
Hi, everybody. I am just so excited about the opportunity to return to Oaxaca year after year. And it's been a really awesome experience to be able to take my study and passion, which is regional dye palettes. I teach regional dye palettes mostly in the US, and to have this opportunity to go and study and teach and share and collaborate on with mushroom dyes from the mountains of Oaxaca is just a once in a lifetime experience that keeps happening every year. But it's different every time, and it's truly amazing to collaborate in this way, go into the communities, learn about the mushrooms that grow there from the community members, and then be able to look at these mushrooms for the first time, some of these mushrooms the first time in my life, and be able to work with them and bring out the color potential and be able to share that back with the community. It's just, I can't explain how fulfilling and how much I feel like a lifelong learner in all of this. It's really cool. So thank you, Kim, and I'm really happy to be part of this team.
Thank you, Alyssa. I'm not sure what happened, but my background is just disappeared.
You're kind of floating over in the lower left-hand corner, like part of the screen. I've never seen that on the Zoom before. It's like, whoa, she appeared out of nowhere.
It's like best laid plans, right? Like make the nice presentation, put it together, get stuck in space during it. I can go with it. Yes. And so you've already met me. I'm Kim. And then the last photo actually is me and my husband. So if you come on my Colores, Zach is our mushroom man on the trips and does a great job at finding dye mushrooms. So he's my partner in crime, my husband, and we do our mushroom foraging tours together. So I just wanted to give him a shout out before we moved on to our artisan partners. Anna, did you want to talk a bit more about this? And we'll get more into detail on each of the trips, but just to give you a sense of how we work with folks.
Well, our tours wouldn't be what they are without this amazing team of artisan partners that we have. All these people are not just artisans, they are really our friends. I met all of them 17 years ago when we opened the Textile Museum of Oaxaca. And that's how then I met Caroline. Caroline met them. And then I met Miriam, who is one of the artisans and the teachers who work with us. And then we've been like weaving an amazing community. All these artisans are from Oaxaca, from many different communities that we are traveling during our tours. And they all have an amazing experience, not just in their fields and in their trades, but also in the interaction with people, tourism, collaborating with other artisans, designers. These are all artisans that are very open to be interacting with travelers. They love that. That's really what we love about this community of artisans, because they are always asking us to repeat these kind of trips, because they learn a lot from the travelers that we bring to their workshops. And of course, we learn a lot from them. So these are all women and men who have been sharing their knowledge, receiving us in their homes, having meals together. So this is for us like one of I mean, it's the strength of the tours. I mean, we can be facilitators, we can connect people, and we can bring people to Oaxaca. But without these artisans, we cannot really like show what is the richness of Oaxaca. These are the people who really show you, travelers, what is the textile culture and all the challenges and all the innovations that they've been doing through years is what really makes these tours really special. So it is a pleasure to work with all of them. And every time we bring people, there's a new story to share with them, something new to learn about them. So again, like we're really pleased. I'm very fortunate to be working with all of them. And yeah, it is a unique opportunity to get to meet people like them who really share the passion of what they do, but also yeah, to be learning from all the people that come and visit them.
Can I add one more quick one more very quick thing? And I just want to put on that we've worked with these people for more than, not only for a very long time, but in many different ways. It's not always just going there as sort of spectators, but with what they're doing. But between us all, we've done multiple projects with them where we're inventing things, we're investigating things with them. So the level of understanding we have of each other and our work is very personal, and it's very rich because it's been many years and on many different ways of having to think through and actually working together versus just visiting each other's studios.
Yeah, very important.
It's a long, if it was weaving, it would be very long. It would many
and lots of shifts in the weaving pattern too, and new material,
life, right?
Sometimes gaps and sometimes packed tight. Yeah. Okay, sorry.
No, it's actually like a wonderful segue because
yeah.
I wanted folks just to meet us and hear more about our ethos before we got into the meat of this, which is talking about what we have on deck for 2025, 2026. This is a just general slide, and we'll go through sort of linearly based on time what we have coming up. There's 5 different tours ranging from embroidery, weaving, natural dyeing. We'll have some pottery in Chiapas. Some are creative adventures. Others are textile immersions to really get to see different artisans. And so combined, I think it's a really great slate of options for folks to come and take a break with us. So before I won't before without further ado, without further ado, we'll get into each of those right now. But before that, we are going to do 2 slides throughout this presentation, one on Oaxaca and one on Chiapas, just so everybody who hasn't been to Oaxaca or Chiapas has a sense of place. So we'll start with Oaxaca and then talk about those tours. And I think Miriam is going to talk a bit more about Oaxaca, just to give you a sense of the place and where that hosts us. Yeah.
Yeah, the territory is one of the most important things in our tours. As Anna and Colin said before, the main resource to get people here is the relationship between the territory and the people who live in this territory. So Oaxaca, for some of those who has been here, you already know that it's a very 8 different regions in Oaxaca. Which is regions have different weather, different type of plants, different climate. So everything makes that every region makes a unique sense of them. The food, the music, the textiles are unique for not for every region. Even every region have towns, and a lot of them have, even if they have similarities, and they are living together, there are, of course, some other things that make them different to each other. And Oaxaca is this amazing place who has been this treasure keeper because of the mountains that we have. There's too many change of mountains to keep it separated in certain way, the different towns and regions of Oaxaca. But that's also make us preserve our tradition and our costumes here, and because we are still living into this tradition and these costumes for for many years, and still now this tradition are, even if it's evolving because it's not in a static, is still a great place to know the real Mexico. The roots of Mexico are here. We have 16 different ethnic groups in Oaxaca, but if we also count the African American Mexicans, we are another ones who are come from Nahuatl, descendants of Nahuatl who are from the center of Mexico. So we already have kind of 19 different ethnic groups, which is make very rich this part of Mexico. So this is part of the richness that we want to show you through these trips, and this is where we are been.
Thank you, Miriam. I appreciate that. All right, we are going to get started with our first tour, which is Impressions of Oaxaca. We've got one coming up in June as well as in February. I'm going to kick this over to Carolyn and Miriam to talk more about it. Something that we all put together, and I just love it.
Yeah. So this is like a 10-day embroidery immersive, and it's very hands-on. There's actually several days that are just studio days. We're in the studio all day working, but we do it. It's like a combination of a kind of a studio workshop and cultural tour. So we do a lot of visiting different artisans to learn specific techniques, but then we also have studio time where we're reflecting on it and creating our own work as well. We actually found that people, one of their favorite things is the time sitting in studio with the other people, and everybody just very happy being there. But we work with a lot of traditional artisans too who come in and do workshops. And Miriam, what else would you like to add about this?
Sorry, my connection is not really good right now. Yeah.
Okay.
Can you hear me well right now?
Uh-huh.
I have some troubles with connection. part of living in Oaxaca. Sometimes Oaxaca have this complex of level that, but these things makes us unique too. So we having this in Impressions of Oaxaca tour, the chance to connect with the people who are being here in a different, in a more deep level. I like to think like that because we share our experience and we try to reflect through the textiles and the connection that we made with the people who are working with us during these 10 days. So part of the sign of this experience is not just the textile, is the way that we made it, but actually we try to understand a little bit better more about the culture of Oaxaca and the things that we are living here every day. So hopefully we are uh, getting that goal for our previous tours. And if you have the chance to be in here, we are very happy to share with you all of these activities that we developed during this tour.
And it's both, as Marian says, both the culture, but also kind of the philosophy too, and how people think about the world differently. And we tried to build that into the things that we're doing. And there's also this thing that happens when you sit and make with other people. There's a different kind of connection that happens with that. That I think is really unique to these makers tours. Like you just get to know each other really well. And somehow when you're sitting and stitching all day, people sort of naturally open up and talk to each other. And so we would talk about that, both what's happening in ourselves as we're stitching, but also how in the culture here, how they think about things different. And it can help you like relax and chill out a little bit too, which is really good. Plus it's beautiful fabrics and that we're making and seeing, and the artisans are just so open-hearted and generous, and it's just a joy to do this. So
that's right. It would be a pleasure to be part of this trip.
And it's also open to all levels. So we've had folks who've never picked up a needle before, and also some people who've really picked up a needle.
They're like professional artists, exhibiting textile artists.
Some of them
they're
are on this
good.
call. Mad respect. You know who you are.
Yeah, they're on the call.
They're over on the call. Impressions is being offered in June, and we have a few spots left, and we're actually offering a discount. So if you're interested in any of our tours, I have our website at the bottom, and you can always go to the pages to check out more information and to apply. So and if you have any questions as we're doing the presentation, feel free to put them in the chat, or we'll have a Q&A section at the end. So. And so that is Impressions of Oaxaca with a focus on embroidery as well as really space kind of to work on your creative stuff.
I couldn't get chat to work.
Oh, you couldn't? Okay.
So I typed in a question, but I don't know whether it's just me or whether.
Well, I got the AI thing trapped me in some other chat.
So it said retail meeting notes. I mean, redye meeting notes. Anyway, I'll just ask my question at the end. It's
okay.
Great.
Or yeah. You're welcome to ask at the end. And yeah, if anybody does, I see. Okay, maybe. All right. Well, we'll keep an eye out on chat.
Yeah, I'll keep an eye on the chat. If there's anything I can answer quick, I will, Kim.
Okay, great. Next up is Woven Lives with Anna and Carolyn, August and January.
Yeah. Well, Women Lives happened to born because Caroline Callenborn in 2010 decided to create a beautiful, amazing documentary about the life of some of the artisans that she have already met and some artisans that she met in that year. And the name of the documentary is Woven Lives. And so Caroline and I was part of this documentary in 2010 when I was the director of the Textile Museum of Oaxaca. And so 13 years after, 2 years ago, Caroline and we were talking and we said, it would be really, really beautiful and amazing to bring people to learn what happened after the 13 years and to create a trip around this documentary. So the idea of this trip is to visit all the people that are featured in the documentary, who are all artisans that we've known for 17 years, that we've been working with them, collaborating with them. And we've been kind of like following their steps and following the thread. That's actually the name of the tour. It's following Woven Lives, following the thread. So the idea of the tour is to visit all these artisans and have conversations and learn what has been about, what had happened with their lives through all these years after the documentary. So Caroline, maybe you want to add.
Yeah, so a couple of things I'll add, Anna, as you were talking, is like I actually the last person who speaks in the film is you, because you have what you had to say I thought was so insightful and forward looking and thinking about the future and how traditional artists and artisan work can interact with the future and the present, and how it's a give and take back and forth, and how there's a lot in both directions. And it was really a lovely thing. And so again, we talk a lot, we use textiles and learning about the techniques, but kind of as doorways into talking to people about their lives and talking to them about how they live, what's important to them, their relationships between their family and their work and their time in their work and their community and their art. And so it's sort of like that's why the title too is Woven Lives. It's not just about the technical or the color of the aesthetics, but how does it create sort of a worldview and how one looks at an interaction between technology and both current and historical, and holding on to a very rich, long tradition, but also being very contemporary and moving into the future. So those are the sorts of things that we like to have conversations with people about that. And even though we've known them, like Anna said, all of these, we've known them and been working on projects with them for 13 years, there's always something new every time. There's always surprises. And everybody loves seeing each other and sharing, coming up to date with what's been going on. So again, it's just like, we just love this.
Yeah, and something important about this trip is that the base, I mean, we're based in Oaxaca City, and then some days in Teotitlán del Valle, which is this Zapotec town where they weave wool rugs. And so we have hands-on workshops, but also just like demonstrations and conversations. And so you will get to learn about the techniques, the processes, the aesthetic, but the idea of the tour is not to become like a master in weaving in 1 week, but to really get to understand what's behind a textile. No, like for us, it's very important that people come to Oaxaca and see textiles, like Caroline say, as a doorway to understand what's the culture. And so I think Woven Lives really bring that opportunity to talk about that, and of course to get to be in the artisans' homes and weave with them, dye with them, and learn about the silk. I mean, it's a very dynamic, interactive tour, but of course, also the idea is to bring conversations around this community.
Thank you, Anna. And I think that's the point, right? Is like the more spaciousness we can create with artisans, the more connection we can have. And in the making and in doing, we get a lot of that. And so just to repeat on Woven Lives, we're offering that in August for a week, as well as in January for a week. And you can learn more on the website. And again, I just would encourage anyone who's interested in any of the tours to apply, just to let me know you're interested. Sometimes we get a wave of applications, and it's good to have your name in the list. Next up is My Colores with myself and Alyssa Allen, who introduced herself earlier. This is a week that's actually in the mountains of the Sierra Nortes, which is about 2 hours outside of Oaxaca City. We spend time in 3 different Zapotec mountain communities, foraging for mushrooms that are used for natural dyeing, as well as lichens. And it's been a pleasure. This will be Alyssa's 3rd or 4th year with us, and we'll be also spending time with the artisans in San Pedro's. Last year, we actually were at the Silk Sanctuary and demonstrated our mushroom dyes on their silk. And this year, they are excited to come out and do one of the forays with us the day before we do dyeing with them. So going back to sort of building on an experience, I'm really excited to go back to San Pedro and go out into the forest, into their forest, and show them the dyes they have. Alyssa, do you want to share anything about My Colores and the Sierra Norte specifically that you're excited about?
Yeah, I mean, thinking back to last year and like the experience of being in the 3 or 4 villages and foraging, in each of those places has its own like micro community of mushrooms. And so that's one of the things I'm really looking forward to is just experiencing that again. It's like 3 completely different worlds of mushroom hunting.
Yeah, we won't
And
get
the
into.
communities are very different too.
They are very different. And kind of what you're hearing on this call is we're talking about the mountain villages, and in our other tours we're in the valleys. And so there is a real diversity of life here. And and just to get back to kind of the nuts and bolts of the tour, we're going to be doing at least 3 or 4 forays to go mushroom hunting, and the terrain is actually really nice compared to some of our other locations. And we'll have a dye studio that we'll be have access to, that we're going to set up at the cabins that we stay in. I'll talk more about accommodations later in the call in general. And we'll be with the silk community for a day, multiple dyeing workshops, as well as learning about how to identify dyes out in the wild. So we're really excited about that. That's also being offered in August, which is considered Ongusto here, which is the time where it's really green and beautiful. And so if you want to learn more about that, you can check it out, and we would love to have you join us. Next up, resilient threads. Actually, why don't we do Anna, would you mind? I'm going to leap ahead to the Chiapas slide so you can share a bit more about the place, and then we'll circle back here real quick. You're unmuted.
Hey, Mike.
All right. Chiapas, it's in the border with Oaxaca actually, and it's also one of the most biodiverse states in the country of Mexico. I worked for years during my 20 years in Oaxaca, 4 of them after I quit the Textile Museum. I had the great opportunity to work with a nonprofit there, Mayan Weavers. So I got to learn a lot about Chiapas. I was going there once a month, and then at the end of the 4 years, I was staying almost like the whole month. So Chiapas, it's a very, very rich state in terms of nature, but also, of course, in terms of ethnic culture. There's around 9 different ethnic groups. They are all Maya. Only the Soques are not Maya, but the rest of the indigenous groups that are living in Chiapas are Mayan people. And there's an amazing and very, very rich culture in terms of textiles. And most of the communities that are making textiles are located in the highlands of Chiapas, which is their location that is around San Cristobal de las Casas, which is actually, it's the cultural capital city of Chiapas. Years ago was the capital city of Chiapas. Before it was Guatemala, actually, part of Guatemala. But anyway, Chiapas is a beautiful, beautiful state. It's all like Oaxaca, it's almost all mountains, but it has many other ecosystems like jungle, and of course the diversity of textiles and techniques, it's also incredibly rich. And so yeah, if you haven't been to Chiapas, it's another amazing place to visit in Mexico.
Which is why Anna and I got together this year and dreamed up Resilient Threads, Mayan Artisans of Chiapas. And so this will actually be our first time offering a tour here in San Cristobal. I have done tours here with my husband's company, and Anna has done tours here but we have not done it together. And so we're really excited to offer this week-long experience in October. We're going to be staying in the heart of San Cristobal and both get to experience like the richness of this town and history of the town, but also go out and spend time in a range of artisan villages. And Anna, do you want to speak more to sort of a couple of the different villages that we're going to visit and sort
Yeah.
of bring into San Cristobal as well?
We decided to visit communities where I know some of the people that we're going to be meeting, but also because the idea is that you can learn about weaving, embroidery, and ceramics, because there it's also very important in Chiapas. So we're going to be around San Cristobal, in Chamula, in Sinacantan. We're going to go to La Rainsar, to Aguacatenango, where they also make embroidery, and Amatenango. And also just in the city of San Cristobal, there's so many things to see, to learn about Chiapas, about its culture, about the Mayan people. And so the idea of the tour is to visit these people in their homes, but also again, like have conversations with them, not just go and be spectators, but also to be to have interact and exchange with them. So through my experience in Chiapas working for years, I I think it's very different to Oaxaca, which makes it also very interesting. If you have been to Oaxaca, you cannot expect to have like the same experience in Chiapas. It is another Mexico, which is an amazing thing because it's very unique. Each state has its own uniqueness, and I think Chiapas is completely like another country because it's a Mayan culture, and so there are some techniques in terms of weaving and embroidery that are similar, but the aesthetic is different, the colors are different, the food is different, the environment, the architecture is different. So I think that we've been focusing in Oaxaca, which is great, and there's still endless things to see in Oaxaca, definitely. But I think that Chiapas, it's another place to really get to know what Mexico is, and again to learn about Mexico through its textiles. And I think Chiapas and the people in Chiapas has a lot of things to offer in terms of stories that are written in their textiles, which is really, really incredible. I mean, it's stunning what you see in terms of textiles.
It really is, and you see a distinct difference from the patterns of Oaxaca in terms of also those Zapotec versus Mayan, and also
Mhm.
completely different history in terms of like how they evolved. Like the Mayans actually, were not conquered by the Aztecs and were trading with them and managed to also continue their cosmology in ways that people say Mayan civilization collapsed. It didn't. They're still here,
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
there and it's active, and each of these villages like represents a different way of that, and so we'll get to learn more about it. I'm very excited to.
Yeah, me too. And for me, it's another opportunity to continue sharing Chiapas. I run several tours there, but this one that we put together, Kim and I, think is very different because also what traveling traders bring into the trip is very rich in terms of getting to know the culture in a very deep way, which for me and I think for the travelers is something that we really want to share in a very ethical and respectful way, because Chiapas is also different in terms of accessibility. It's not like Oaxaca. So I think that and yeah, I think it's gonna be really, really special to be doing this with Kim, who is now living most of her time in Chiapas. So,
That is true. Yeah, so if anybody wants to learn more about that, I actually just got the website updated today with these new trips. So you can learn more and sign up or have an info call. We would love to have you join us. And our last, but not certainly not least, because I am stoked about this one. is our second embroidery like a new embroidery immersion, narrative stitch personal dialogues with artist Elena Bolios. And Carolyn, I'm going to let you speak to this. Like anybody who was on Impressions back in January of 23 got to see her exhibit, and we were just captured by it, and the seed was planted there, and Carolyn has taken that seed and watered it, and it is now coming to fruition. So please, Miriam and Carolyn, share more,
Miriam and Carolyn, yeah.
share more about this like creative experience.
Yeah, so I think there were two different groups that saw this. I think one of the Woven Lives trips went by there, and also the traveling the Impressions tour both went by and saw this exhibition in person, and we were all completely blown away by it. And a friend of Miriam's is a friend of Elena's, and so we wound up making all these connections. And then Elena was here last summer, or at the close of the exhibition, and I had the opportunity to take her and a group to Teotitlán for the day. And I said, well, by the way, would you be interested in doing a workshop? And she just said yes right away. And she's very excited about it. She knew what we were doing with our other trips and was really impressed with what we had been doing. So we're going to do this. People also in the Impressions class, workshops or tours had been, a lot of people said, are you going to do a second level? They've been saying this for all of every time we hold it. So we thought this would be a good way to put together one that could work with Elena, and she gave a short workshop last summer that I was able to attend. And she was really amazing. In just a couple of hours, we just showed up. Some people had needle and thread, and some people had fabric, and many had never stitched before. And she had us doing really thoughtful stitching and thinking about ourselves and our bodies. And there were men there, and there were women there, and there were some in their 70s, and there were some in their 20s. And, at the end of this 3-hour thing, half of us were in tears at the end. It was really impressive. The way she's able to speak and speak to kind of something that's important to you and get you to think about those things and to share them it was just an absolutely lovely environment to be in. And so anyway, so we're going to work, she's going to come, and we're going to have a 7-day workshop, and we'll be doing, she'll be leading the creative exercises through all of this. And there'll be a lot of studio time, but a lot of thinking, and there might be drawing, but it doesn't matter if you can draw. I'm terrified of drawing, and we had to stitch a part of our face or whatever. And that's the worst, scariest thing for me to do, is to have to look, you never like how you look. And then I'm afraid to draw, and I'm afraid faces are the worst. And in an hour, I did this little thing that I was actually really pleased with, and it sort of made me feel better about all of those things. So anyway, it was just a really great experience. So she's going to lead a bunch of creative exercises over the 7 days. There'll be a lot of studio time, but a lot of talking and sharing. And then we're also going to do 2 studio visits, one to a group called Hormigas Bordadoras. They do narrative cloth with applique, mostly about immigration issues, and also a workshop with La Pistola. That's they're the ones that made our bags that we have their bags too. They're really wonderful graphic designers, and we're going to do like a self-portrait thing with that. So all of this is kind of be a much more internal, but then within the context of Oaxaca and the art of Oaxaca and the way about thinking about ourselves. She's not from Oaxaca. She's from
Yucatan.
Mérida. So that'll be bringing in a different kind of energy from that too. But it'll all be happening within this creative space in Oaxaca. Miriam, I talked too much, but is there anything you want to add?
I think just a little bit about more Elena Martinez Bolio. She's a very really well-known artist, some of you have the chance to see her work, and it's just impressive. So we are very, very excited to share this time with her. She's very incredible person, and she used the textile as a medium to transmit sometimes very complicated or internal topics that is hard to express in other ways. So she loves to use textiles because it's a very meditative technique. So she's using this as a medium to transmit topics as a women who has been in prison or very, very, very hard topics. So she has a lot of experience to transmit and to have this dialogue between, it's more like to have a conversation with our own. So that's the focus of this next trip. So Carol and I, we're very excited to have this opportunity, and hopefully you also have the chance to be in here. Even if you have been here before, this new experience is designed to be different and in a different way that traditional tours has been developing here. So as Carolyn said, we are collaborating with some other very creative and talented people who have us the chance to express ourselves in a different way. So this is our next experience. So hopefully you are planning to join us.
And one more detail I'm going to add on there that you have in the comments, Kim, but I think is worth noting is that she's going to give each one of us like a blank we peel to start, and then we'll be working and stitching on it and adding things to it or drawing on it or whatever. That will be sort of our canvas that we'll be working on over the week. So everybody will have this thing when they're done.
And again, even if you are not participate in embroidery in Impressions of Oaxaca, which is the previous embroidery experience, it doesn't need to be if you want to take this as a first time, you're very welcome, because it's not particularly related. It's a desirable thing. You have some experience of embroidery, but it's not necessary at all. So if you're really beginning in the stitches process, you don't need to worry at all. It's just another way to express your personality.
Very well put, Miriam. I'm very excited. I'm trying to move my schedule around so I can actually make it as well. And so that's in November 7th or 9th through the 17th. Again, all of the info is on the website, as well as a daily itinerary. Again, our website has a lot of information on each of the trips if you want to dive in. We've already talked about these tours, but looking forward to 2026, because I started getting emails a few months ago about when our tours were going to be offered again. And so Woven Lives is going to be offered again in January 21st through the 29th, 2026. And Impressions of Oaxaca will be offered in February 5th through the 15th. Our winter sessions typically fill up faster. So just wanted to give everyone's a heads up. The applications are open, and we would love to have you join us. I am almost done, and we'll open up for questions. Just a quick slide on accommodations. So our different trips have different accommodations. Woven Lives, you're staying at Hotel Parque Llano, which is in the upper left corner, which is in Centro, right next to a park. And we're also going to be using Parque Llano or the Hotel Llano for the narrative trip in November. The lower left here is El Carrizal. Those are the cabins that we stay in. One of the cabins that we stay in for My Colores up in the mountains for our foraged color. And we also stay there for a couple nights at the beginning of Impressions of Oaxaca to give folks some space to drop into the nature here. Upper right corner is our artisan house that we stay in during our Impressions of Oaxaca trips. It's a really beautiful house with a terrace and a lot of spaciousness to stitch. Again, we still have a few spaces in the house for June. If anyone wants to hop on, would love to have you. And then the lower right is Sombra del Agua, which is our hotel here in San Cristobal that we'll be at in October for Anna and I's trip. And again, it's beautiful accommodations right in the
Sorry.
All good stuff. Right in the heart of the city, and for most of these options, other than the artisan house for Impressions, we can have single and double options because it's a hotel. So we just have some different options for folks as how you would like it. And that's my presentation. Well done, everybody. Does anyone have any questions? Like, this is really the time to ask whatever may be on your mind. You can do it in the chat if that works, or just put your phone off mute
I
and
think Jamie raised her hand.
Yeah, I actually have two questions. One, the Cheapest tour, is that going to be offered again next year? Because I can't make it this year and it's killing me.
Anna and I have said that that we would like to do it next year. It seems like her schedule one of our biggest challenges is these ladies are so awesome.
Yeah.
I don't have that many windows. But I think since I'll be spending more time here and Anna seems like she's open to it, we would like to do it next year.
Okay, good. And on the narrative stitch, if we come in a day early, can we check into that hotel?
Yes. We'll give the contact for the hotel, and if anybody wants to make reservations earlier or later, you're welcome to. They normally have space, and so you can.
But it will be up to you to call them and make the reservation.
Right. That's no problem. And I have a Miriam question, which I may do afterwards, but if anybody else has questions.
Great. I can fill in space in between. Or Jamie?
No other questions? Oh, well, Miriam, what I was wondering is I would like to make one of your blouses myself because the drawn thread work, which I'm sorry, I forgot the name of it.
Destilado.
Yeah, it's just so fascinating. I would love to, is there some way we can talk later and figure out how to do, for me to do a blouse for myself? Because I have nothing else to do, but no, I'm sorry. I think it would be great fun. And Miriam's class was wonderful.
This is one thing.
You are a wonderful student, Jamie. And of course, we can send your blouse. It could be a very nice project between both of us. And I will love to see how is your destilado skills have been evolved through time. So, of course, Jamie.
Well, I will practice a lot before I get there. How's that?
Definitely. And the destilado is actually, if you go on our website for impressions, you can see what it looks like. It's actually removing a thread and then re-sewing.
Oh, yeah.
It's like weaving.
I fell in love with it at Maria's. I mean, I had done it, or Miriam's, I'm sorry. I had done it before, and the Portuguese do kind of the same thing. And I think I'm going to sign up for Spanish lessons now. So anyway.
I love it.
You know, I was so bad with
We're
my
making like this whole community here. Like people are coming back for more, and somebody just ran into each other from the trip last summer. They just ran into each other in Madrid, and they sent pictures. There were people that met each other
from Golden Light.
last summer. Yeah, that was awesome.
All right, any more Q&A? Elizabeth.
Okay, so I'm coming to Oaxaca in June. I'm looking forward to it. Can't wait. So today I went to the doctor to find out if I needed any shots or anything. So do I need malaria, do you think?
You don't have malaria shots here.
Okay, and then they were also saying typhoid. Do I need typhoid?
You should be okay.
All right. Measles I'm going to get because who knows about measles, right? Okay. And that's it then. Is there anything else that you...
We'll do a call actually in a couple weeks with the impressions group for June, and that's also something else we do. So a couple weeks before all of our trips, we'll do a Zoom and connect with folks in advance, answer any questions, and share any more resources. But yeah, Elizabeth, don't forget a water bottle.
Yeah, so we bought water bottles and those straw things already. There's straws that you can put in at the restaurant, whatever. Yeah.
We will have an abundance of clean water available. I just ask everyone to bring a vessel.
Oh, okay. Okay, good. And the other two people coming, we all know each other. So one is my niece, who's a student at Pratt. She's a design student at Pratt. She's in her last year, so she's going to come. She and I went to Romania last year, to Transylvania, and did some stitching there. And the other one is my friend Kate, who's retiring this year from teaching. So yeah, we're all going to come together. Two of us coming from Hawaii.
I'm excited to.
Yeah. So if there's anybody else here on this call who wants to join us, we'd be happy to meet up with you
Couple
guys.
spots left.
Yeah.
I see a question. Oh, go ahead.
There's a question.
There's
Sharon,
a question. Yeah. Do you want to? There's a question in the chat. Do you want to answer it, Anna? That's
yeah. It says, hi, thanks for the info. Sorry, it's really early in Asia and can't turn on camera with my cats all over me. I want to ask if the Woven Lives and the Chapa strip are child-friendly and any of the artisans next generation involving the engagement when we visit. Well, of course, we accept, I mean, women, men, child, no, we're not, we're open to receive whoever wants to travel. I mean, the tours are absolutely, I mean, it's for any, how to say, any age, Kim? I mean,
Yeah.
definitely.
I would say any age. We should definitely chat. I think that there's like, there are certain ages where kids enjoy being with workshops, and there are other ages where kids might not want to be sitting anywhere.
Exactly.
So like I think it depends, but I'm really open to it. You know, I really would actually love for
my dog comes from time to time.
the dog,
No, but this is child, not pet.
I do. I think like it would be great for us. Like we would love to make it as like it's definitely friendly in terms of like we can handle it. I just want to make sure it is a good fit for your family and the group. And that's so very open to it. We just want to have a conversation.
And your second question, Sharon, yes, of course. Actually, in Woven Lives, one of the things that is one of the highlights of the trip of Woven Lives is that we are getting the new generations are part of the businesses of the workshops. And so in most of the, and actually in all the places that we're gonna visit, we're gonna see the next generation, youth people being part of the workshop, of the business, because it's been 13 years since Woven Lives was published. And so actually in the movie you can see some of the art of the children from the artisans, and then when we go to their workshops, you're gonna see them like
all grown up.
So
like 5 in the middle in the movie, and he's like a nationally known weaver.
It is one of our. It was one actually of the reasons why we wanted to do Woven Lives, because many of the artisans that we've known for many years, in the past, many artisans were not encouraging their children to go into the artisan business, but now it has changed, fortunately, and so we will get to meet the girls and boys grown up and now making amazing things like Rodrigo from Arte Cosijo. At the Silk Sanctuary, we'll see some of the young, the children of Moises being there. So yeah, definitely that's one of the highlights of Woven Lives. And in Chiapas, in Chiapas is very different. Actually, every time you go to the workshops, you see the weavers with their children. It's very common. So there's another 2 questions.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, our pleasure, Sharon.
Well, Carolyn, last time you had the artisans who brought their young son, and he sold everything.
Yeah, that's right. It's actually, it's fairly common that the artisans have their kids with them. Up at the Silk Village, there's usually a bunch of kids running around. That's what they like, the dogs. So that's partly why I bring my dog there. But yeah, Esteban often brings his son along, and he'll be working. And sometimes he had some to sell this last January. And then where's the other place that there's and the ladies from the Sierra Norte. They often have kids along too. Sometimes we've had almost more kids than adults, but they're very well behaved, I have to say. They all know how to like sit while their parent. I mean, they know how to be calm, but it's really great and it's fun to see them. and to talk to them. And I think it's cool for the kids too. Like if the kids see that other people are, finding what their parents do is like really cool, I'm sure that helps the kids think, oh, this is cool.
Definitely. Yeah. As Jamie said, Stephen Jr. actually embroids a little pieces himself, and he offered to the group, and all of them that was buying, and he was very happy and very encouraged to keep the tradition. So yes, definitely the new generation is involved.
We almost had a fight over it. No,
yeah, that's right. I think there weren't enough.
Is there going to be an Impressions of Oaxaca too?
What's that?
Is there going to be an Impressions of Oaxaca part?
Well, that's kind of what the narrative one is, part 2. That's sort of like, the sitting in the kind of sitting in studio focused based, but it's a little bit more studio. But we're still like, Elena will be a totally new artisan artist to work with. And then Tenny Vet, there's somebody that's been doing this amazing embroidery. I brought them up to Madison one time, and they're like, for years they do this wonderful storytelling. And like with Impressions one, there's so many people to visit, we couldn't do it all in one. And they were on the top of the list of like, oh man, we should have got there, so and it fits well into this idea of narrative. And then also putting in like the graphic designers at La Pistola, they're mural artists, and they're really wonderful at like being able to tell stories with imagery. So to have a workshop day with that, where we're thinking about visual communication, I think will be a really nice connection with all of the other things. And then Elena's got this way of getting you to think and be internal and not be too hung up on your technique. Mm-hmm. She's very big on like, don't worry about it. Just see what comes up, and really thinks we're very interesting when people do that.
It's more about the approach that we will share about our connection.
Yeah, I sent in my application after I swore I was doing no more trips this fall, and I thought, I can't not do that.
Oh, it'd be great to have you come back. So we'll be in my studio a lot, which is here, right? Yeah.
Yay, we'll see Paco.
Paco will be here. He's here down here by he's down by my feet here. Come here, you.
So I have a question. Am I on?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. About the same one, the narratives. Is there a certain number, and you probably have it on the website, number of people who are able to participate?
We'd like to be 10 to 12. Elena thought we could go up to 12, and there's definitely enough space here when we're all working that we're not on top of each other with 12. But it won't get any bigger than that, because you just can't, it's hard to really have personal connections with more than that. Mm-hmm. So that'll be the cutoff number. And hopefully Kim will be there too.
I won't take up any space. I'll like go up in the corner.
You'll float above.
Like, right? You can sit on the stairs. Yeah.
Kim better be there. No.
And good news, Caroline has a terrace.
I have a what?
You have your roof.
I have a terrace.
Yeah. So we will.
It's getting there. Yeah. But I can walk up the stairs now. I don't know if some of you were here when you couldn't go up. There was a stairs to nowhere. It just had a little tiny hole, and I didn't have a roof. Yeah, Melissa's shaking her head. Now I actually have stairs. You can go up, and actually we're sitting here building and painting chairs that are going to go up on the roof.
Yeah.
Cool. This is so much fun to see people that have been there and talk to them. So.
Yeah, and I think that's one of the cool things is like when every time you come back for more, like you have this other history behind it, and it's fun watching. That's why I like, for me coming back after so many years, or Kim being around, and Anna and Miriam, all of us revisiting the other people. It's like, oh, and you're doing that now, and it's really inspiring to make you want to just take things on and do it. So yeah.
We are very excited.
If I sent my application in, then that means I'm on the list to get a report back for the November. Yes. Yeah.
Thank you, Jamie. I did receive it.
Okay.
Did I send one too? I mean, I filled out something, but did it go through?
Let me check. Honestly, the last 3 days, it's been a bit blurry to get the website updated. It's me. It's all me. And so if you have a dead link, if it takes you to a wrong application, everything should be great. But if you hear this message and you see something wrong with the site, just let me know and I'll fix it.
No problem.
We got all the trips are up and it should be really clear to see it. And I'll be checking applications. And yeah, everybody hears from me within 3 or 4 days usually of applying.
Yeah.
No problem.
There's a question from Carrie. Sorry.
Yeah, Carrie is asking if we are completely novices, no experience in embroidery. Of course, you don't need to worry about. Actually, one of our participants never touched a needle, and it has been so much interesting for the rest of the group too. So it's a new experience. Maybe you could find another patient for you. So you are totally welcome to have no experience at all in embroidery or even threads.
Yeah.
Great. Thank you, Carrie.
I'm excited for the backstrap weaving, so and the embroidery. So
Yeah.
Backstrap is on my vision board.
Okay.
And I hear you, ladies. I hear you.
There's backstrap weaving in Woven Lives. It's a visit to a backstrap weaver, but it's not a backstrap workshop, but that could be. And there's backstrap in Chiapas too.
I am actually studying it right now. I went to my first class yesterday.
You got to do it, Kim. Amazing.
Yeah. I connected with actually a local cultural center here. And so we've been doing a lot of workshops with them because it directly goes and supports their programming for kids in the villages. And so I've been just immersing myself, and there are more tours in our vision, but it's really bandwidth. And also right now, like if you're interested in any of these tours, even if you can't join us this year, apply and make a note and let me know what works better for you. If we see that there's interest in these tours, like it gives us the momentum to keep moving forward. Also I'm really responsive. So I want to try and find times that work with our artisans and with y'all. So if this resonates with you, all of you that have been on our trips know how to get in touch with me. But if you haven't, my email is kim@travelingtraders.com. I'm really happy to get questions about all of our trips, set up one-on-one calls with our different folks to talk about them if you want to learn more, and also take your wish list of what you want to do in the future and when. I am stoked. Unless we don't have any other questions, I'm going to close this call and say thank you all so much for coming, and we really hope to see you in Oaxaca or Chiapas.
Thank you. This has been great.
Yeah, good to see you all.
And it's good to see other people from other